guys, I'm Lisa.
And I'm Natasha.
And we were wondering,
are you free for coffee?
Welcome.
Hey guys.
Today we're talking to Sheena Roberts, also known as the Joy Kurator. And her goal is to help women reach professional and personal fulfillment through joy, enabling them with clarity and confidence. So this is so interesting, isn't it?
I love that.
So, Sheena, what was the aha moment or the epiphany you had that started you on this journey?
Well, we were always told as Black women to do all the things, to get all the degrees, to get the good job, get the husband and the kids. And I did all of that. I got 2 degrees, actually. Got a good job, got a husband, had a house and a car. And I thought that was going to be like the magic potion to happiness. And I looked up and I was still miserable. So in 2019, I said, you know what, universe, I can no longer live this way. I feel unfulfilled. I'm unhappy. I did all the things everybody told me to, but I'm still sitting here like life is not doing what I needed to do right now. Like it's not feeling juicy as I needed to feel right now. So I decided to study the science of joy and pursue only things that were for my highest and greatest good. And in turn, I learned so many things about just how to create a life that I don't need a vacation from, that I don't need to escape from, how to do away with the Monday or the Sunday blues, I would call it. I would get so sad on Sunday because I had to go to work on Monday. Yes, we've talked about that. Yes. So I was so sick of that. And that's basically in 2019, my aha moment. I literally quit my job. It was a toxic corporation, toxic situation. And I walked away from it. And I just said, have your way. I need to find a better way of doing this. And I did.
That's awesome.
That is great.
So what if this is resonating with someone? They're saying, this is me. My job is getting in the way of my life.
Listen.
Do you have some practical steps that for them to take? Maybe they can't just quit right now, but what are some steps or some things they can do on the way?
Right. Well, first of all, I wouldn't suggest, and I don't suggest anybody just up and quit like I did. I had reached the point where I was just too through with a lot of things that had been happening, and it just was the right thing for me, and right thing that I felt like I needed a break from just work, period, because I was burnt out. However, I think some practical steps for women to take is to basically get some clarification about what joy feels like to you, and that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to, make a certain amount of money. It doesn't mean that you have to have a certain type of car. Just become familiar with the feeling of joy and try to have that feeling infiltrated in each and every single one of your days as much as you possibly can. And through that way, you'll actually start, as you become familiar with joy and give yourself permission to experience joy and savor it, really take it in, really realize what it feels like, what it looks like to you, what you're doing, all those type of things. And take that in and start to have daily routines to try to have that feeling or that emotion or that thing every single day of your life. That's basically the first step to having a life that you enjoy.
It sounds like yours kind of hinged on your professional life.
It did.
Or some of the women that you coach or talk to, is it more their personal life or professional or both?
That's a good point, because it's more than just it's the professional. It's also who you're around, your community.
Yes.
A lot of us who are ambitious, we're constantly looking, and this is a practical step. We're constantly looking towards the future. If I obtain this goal, then I will be happy. If I obtain this salary, then I'll be happy. If I'm around these type of people, then I'll be successful. However, everybody that you're around right now is not going to be the same people that is going to take you to the next part of your journey, to the next evolution of who you are. So basically, what you can do is do a friend inventory, and there's different categories of friends that you have when it comes to the community that you build around you in your pursuit to creating the life that you want. And you have your play friends, the folks that you go out with, that you have fun with, you go traveling with, that says, you know what, I want to go to a wine festival this weekend. Are you available? I sure am available. Okay, let's hop in the car and head on out. Then you have your friends who've been around you since you were 12 years old, since you were in elementary school. Those are your friends that you grew up with. And those are the friends that will ground you and kind of bring you back to center
Mm.
you. And those are not necessarily your play friends. And your play friends don't necessarily have to be your day one friends. Then you also have your friends that are your 10 toes down friends. These are the friends that if you about to go and do something, they're going to be like, okay, what time are we rolling? Like, my boyfriend did X, Y, and Z with me. Okay, let me grab my keys. We rolling to his house. Those are the type of friends that we call the 10 toes down friends. And then you have your people that you aspire to be like, the ones that you want to be like in the future. And those are your mentor friends, right? So you have these different categories of friends. And this gives you permission to say, just because I've been with this group of people since I was, 5 or 6 years old, they're basically like my play cousin, doesn't necessarily mean that they are the 10 toes down friends. It could be somebody that you just met like last week. And that could be your 10 toes down friend and you don't even know. So building a community of people around you that's going to help you get to the next level or help you stay aligned with that feeling of joy and that feeling of personal satisfaction, whether that be traveling, whether that be having, seeking a husband or buying a house or, getting a better job or starting a business, whatever that is, having that community around you is important.
Do you feel like there's some friends that you have to let go?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And with love, because understanding again, because I known you since I was 12 years old doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be my 10 toes down type of friend.
Right.
And those people who, and it doesn't have to be anything that's negative. You can let people go with love, but focusing on the people that actually bring you positive energy and when you're around them makes you feel like you're having a good time and you feel full and you feel like you're getting energized. Those are the people that you want around you as much as you can have around you.
Absolutely.
Does mean everybody, and I'm sure you heard this on the show many times before, everybody can't come with you. Okay, because everybody's not allowed to come with you, because that's a heavy load to carry, is to try to bring people to another or have to explain, like, I was going in this direction and now I want to go in that direction. You don't need to explain anything to anybody, baby girl. Just go ahead and do what it is that you need to do. And you'll have those people that understand that, and you'll have those people that don't. And it's okay to let them go with love.
Yeah. And I love how you highlight letting them go with love. I think we've been taught, especially as women, to hold on to baggage, to just drag it with us everywhere we go. Don't let that go. Don't hurt anyone's feelings. And in many ways, you're only responsible for your delivery. You're only responsible for how you say something, how you go about doing it. You cannot be held accountable for their interpretation of what you said. And if it's in your
Mm-hmm.
best interest to part ways, it's just in your best interest to part ways. That's a way that you grow.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
some people are just for seasons. I mean,
Yeah.
that's across the board.
Yes.
Husbands come and go.
All kinds of
Only
folks.
Hello.
kids are only
Yes.
forever, but everybody else, there are limits sometimes, and that
Yes.
doesn't mean that
Mm-hmm.
the relationship
Mm-hmm.
failed. It just
Mm-hmm.
was for a season.
Yes. And
It's
some
going in a
seasons,
different direction.
Yeah. So, Sheena, tell us, what are the 3 C's of living your best life on purpose?
The 3 C's of living your best life on purpose. The first one is clarity. Clarity and understanding basically of the direction that you want to go. And this is almost like a trick question, right? Because clarity brings on the second C, but I'm going to hold off on that for a half a second. A lot of us get stuck with old baggage, right? and we don't know which direction we want to go. We have a feeling of the direction that we want to go, but we oftentimes think that, oh, it needs to be, in a certain process. It needs to be a certain step. A has to come before B, then C comes before D, and then E comes before whatever. Keep going, et cetera, et cetera. Sometimes we just get so boggled down in our minds that we feel like we lack clarity. And so that's the first thing that we have to do in having a life that you enjoy, is to be clear about what that looks like. And oftentimes that means that are you showing up as your future self? Do you recognize what your strengths are? Do you recognize what your weaknesses are in your personality, and the things that you do on a regular basis? But most importantly, are you understanding, as we go back to that first point, of how your daily life and the things that you aspire to do, on a regular basis, and the things that you aspire to do in the future, do you understand how they're aligned? And once you understand how they're aligned and you get clear on what it is that you want to feel like, then you start feeling that way now, and the future you comes to you sooner, as opposed to if you had just started with the logical and just wanted to be, we call it analysis paralysis, when you go around and say, okay, let me do a market research study, or let me do a demographic study of my ideal or my potential client. Is there a niche? Should I niche down? And all those things we kind of get bogged down with when we talk about pursuing our goals. But getting clarity, it really gives you permission. It doesn't mean that you have to do all those things. It just means like, this is what it is that I'm good at. This is what I feel passionate about. This is what brings me joy. I'm clear on that. I receive that, and I'm going to move forward with small steps to get to the future self. And then once you actually get clear, then it brings about the second C, which is confidence. And when you're clear about which direction you're going, can't nobody tell you nothing. You know what I mean? You can't tell me anything, because I'm already very clear about what it is that I want to do. So I'm confident because I know I got the sauce. I have everything that I need already within me. And so once you have the clarity, then you get the confidence. Then
Well,
you're about
Sheena,
to,
when people come to you,
uh-huh.
do you feel like it's hard for them
Mm-hmm.
to get the clarity? I mean, is that, like, to me, that would be the hardest step.
It is the hardest
Because I
step.
think people don't see their own gifts
Mm-hmm.
sometimes.
Yeah,
Because
that is the hardest step.
yes, because
Okay.
the things that are easy to you, usually that's your gift, but you think because it's easy, it's not a
You
thing.
belittle it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's actually very perfect what you just said. You think because it's easy to you that it's not going to be your thing. That's not your thing because it comes to you easy. And I always make the comparison of, if I go into surgery and if I have a surgeon that's just like, well, this is the most difficult case that I've ever had in my life, and I'm unsure about doing this case because it's just so hard. So that's how I know I want to do it. I don't want that surgeon touching me.
No,
But if he
please don't
comes to be
operate on
like,
me.
please don't touch me. Please put the scalpel down. Don't touch me. Like, step over there. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to leave. But if he says, you know what, this is easy for me. This is natural to me. What I'm about to do is something that comes to me naturally. I can see exactly what it is that I need to do before I even, put you under anesthesia. That's a surgeon for me. Just because it comes to us with ease does not necessarily mean that it's not for you, or it's not going to be your thing, or that's not the next level for you. It actually should come to us with ease. We've been taught that things have to be hard, and that's not.
Trying to be like Tina.
Yes.
God rest her soul.
Yes.
Right? Want it hard.
Yes.
We don't want nothing
Want
easy.
it nice
Why
and easy.
is that?
Easy.
Why is that?
I think Sheena's right. That's what we're taught. Right? Think about the terms hard work. Oh, you put in a hard day's work. And what did you get out of it? I mean, really?
Yes.
It is ingrained in us that it has to be hard for it to be worthwhile, meaningful, for it to have a good payout. Okay, so I'm with you. So clarity, we've moved to confidence. So we are listening, because I'm ready for number 3. I'm taking notes.
Number 3, I already talked about it. Your community, your tribe. That's the third C.
Good. Yes.
And that goes into, letting people go with love who may not be totally aligned. And that you know when these people aren't aligned with what it is you want to do. You around them and you sit there and be like, why do I hang out with you? You sit there and be like, I walk
Everybody.
away from
I
you
got folks
more
like that.
tired.
Everybody. This is so on par with my conversation driving here. I was talking to my husband, and we were sharing just about relationships and people who you grow to know over the years and all this stuff. And I told him, I said, we have so many meaningless relationships and we don't even realize it. We've just been convinced, especially again as women, that, oh, well, make sure you speak to them. We'll send them happy birthday, do this, do that. And we kind of continue to water these plants that are really filled with a lot of weeds.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's habit. That's really what it is.
Yeah, it's habit.
A lot of people are habits that really need to be broken.
And that goes back to number one. You don't have clarity. Because if you had clarity and if you were walking in confidence, they would not be part of your community.
Ooh, y'all preaching today.
I'm going to put that on a shirt, Sheena. I just want to tell you, I'm going to listen to this again for myself, just in case anyone is curious. I'm going to listen to it.
Okay,
I mean,
so
you got spot on. You got spot on.
Now that kind of feeds into the imposter syndrome. Now, help us with that.
Oh gosh,
help us. What is it? Why do we get it? How can we not have it?
Yeah, it's a bad little best friend in your head. I sometimes name my imposter that be talking, and her name is Sasha. And I'll be like, Sasha, we don't have time for all of this. Like, just stop. And it comes again.
Give us a for instance. Like how does imposter syndrome show up? Like in a situation, like how can we identify it?
It's a feeling of feeling like you're undeserving. Like, oh my gosh, if anybody finds out that I feel like I'm not worthy of this title, this accomplishment, this particular thing, I don't feel worthy of it. And if anybody else discovers that I'm not worthy of it, then the escape is up. My everything, I'm discovered as being unworthy of this thing. And it's all goes to the things that we learned before we even were 6 years old. This is programmed into our subconscious. So it's not something that we actively did. It's a very quiet, it's a very quiet voice. I call it something else, but it's a very quiet, nasty voice. It tells you bad things in your head, that you are not worthy of this thing that you are so definitely worthy of.
Don't you think women? Do you think men suffer from this?
I do.
Not as much.
I do.
I think
not as much. Not as much.
But I do think. But then think about it. Little boys are told they can conquer the world. How would they suffer as? I mean, I just just think about that.
Well, just statistically, like, they were saying, like, say a job post,
right?
And all the qualifications or whatever, and you got to do this, and this. Have this much experience, this much education. A woman will look at it and she probably has 85% of it and she will not apply.
That's true.
A man might have
50%
or 15.
Yeah.
And he will go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The men they're audacious. They got the audacity to believe in themselves.
But I think women, we're just told to be quiet, be still, be just dial ourselves down. So I feel like it's us. Yeah. We suffer from this so much.
Women are usually told by other women.
Keep your head down and your mouth shut. I was told that by a very high level person in our community. I'm not going to get too small with it, but I was told, keep your head down and your mouth shut and you'll be okay. Yep. I was told to parse myself down so that others would feel comfortable in my presence. Yes. I was told that if I advocated for myself, then I would be perceived, and not even told. I was showed that if I advocated for myself, then I would be perceived as not being a team player or being, an angry Black woman. And so these are the experiences that we have on a regular basis. And we often have to kind of skirt around feeling like, we have to be a certain type of way or walking on eggshells. And so we can't show up as our authentic, or we feel like we can't show up as our authentic selves, because that authentic self will put you in a negative place.
Oh yeah,
And
it's
so
going to
once
be
you,
met with resistance.
with resistance in certain situations and in certain environments, most definitely. But once you become, again, clear, you have your community that's lifting you up, and you are confident in where it is in the direction that you want to go. None of that stuff is going to hold you back, because you already know that everything is already within you, and you are you are her, you are she, and you are at the table for a reason. You are the table, you are there for a reason. And once you take up space boldly, and are comfortable with doing that, then the less, and I'm not saying imposter syndrome never goes away. It does not go away, because
Right.
every time you
Right.
go to another level, it's going to be a different table. It's going to be different faces. It's going to be different things. I just went golfing the other day. I've never been golfing before. And again, it was like Top Golf. So I wasn't like at a country club, but I felt really out of place. Like, oh my gosh, I've never been golfing before. I look like
Right.
an idiot. But, different levels, different devils, but
Yes.
that doesn't mean that you don't keep stopping. That's why
Right.
your
Right.
community is important.
It is, because I think we lift each other up. You believe other people almost more than you believe yourself.
Oh, for sure.
When
100,
somebody tells
100%.
you you were so great with this, you
Yes.
did XYZ, and that's why we have to remind ourselves to do that to each other.
Yes.
To lift
Yes.
each other up, to recognize each other,
Sprinkle some kindness out
yes,
there.
yeah.
And that's why that old saying, birds of a feather flock together. My mom used to say that. She kind of still does. And as a kid, just loathed hearing birds of a feather flock together. But there's some validity to that.
Yeah.
You see people who were once confident or very secure in their choices, and then they start to mold to the community and the environment around them. And that was never their jam. It wasn't who they were. But birds of a feather do tend to flock together. And if someone is not flying at a certain altitude, why would you assume that flying with them is going to get you higher?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, again, you're
Ooh,
only as
chickens
good
and
as
eagles
your.
don't mix. I like that. Chickens and eagles don't mix. I never thought of this.
That is awesome.
I love that. Guys, there'll be a new sticker in our shop next week that says chickens and eagles don't mix.
Okay, Sheena, tell us about your retreats.
My retreats. I have one coming up in November, actually, the Journey to Juicy retreats. And that is something that I am really looking forward to, because it's three of us. I focus on joy. And I think the three of us together, when it comes to specifically Black women, really touch on things that we struggle with in our community. So mine is joy. And then I have a coach that's the co-host as well. She's focusing on pleasure. She is a sex therapist, so she knows
Ooh,
all
great.
things about
Spicy.
pleasure. And we also have someone who's focused on feeling worthy. So those are the trio of things that we often kind of struggle with. So we're going to take you out to Mexico, and we're going to put you in a beautiful, resort, baby. And we're going to focus on you pursuing your joy, your worthiness, and pleasure unapologetically. It's called the Journey to Juicy Retreat. And it's something that I really look forward to. I think that retreats are important for us. It's important for us to remove ourselves from the environments that we are in. It's okay. We could do a lot of work, at home. We could do a lot of work within our community, but to really take yourself out of your everyday environment and put yourself into an environment of beauty, an unfamiliar environment with different perspective, different women of different backgrounds whom you've never met before, you can really focus on yourself and tune into you and go inside of yourself and pull things out of yourself without kids running around, husband calling you on your phone. Everybody know that you're in Mexico. Okay. Like you working on you, you taking time out for you. So I think retreats in our communities are extremely important. If you have not gone on a retreat, it doesn't have to be mine. I 100% implore every woman to take a retreat at least once in their life. especially after what we just went through. Go out, get outside, and go retreat
Yes,
Yes,
somewhere.
yes.
absolutely.
Have a vacation. So,
Hmm.
Sheena, if someone wants to get in touch with you, give us your information. We will post it to everyone. We'll have it on our Instagram and in our show notes. But
Yes.
just tell us,
Sure. So
listen, where they can.
if you are interested, I have a little giveaway actually. I have a cheat sheet to a more joyful life. So if you're listening, if you want to text, pick up your phone right now, you can text more joy, MOREJOY, one word, to 55444, and I will email you a cheat sheet to a joyful life. You can also follow me on Instagram at the Joy Kurator, and that is THEJOY Kurator with a K. Kurator at Instagram. You can follow me there and DM me. I'll be happy to connect with you individually as well.
Cool. Okay, up next, our picks for the sexiest man alive this week. But first, a message from our sponsor.
During hard times, it can get really difficult if you don't have anyone to talk to. Being alone with your thoughts can be an isolating feeling that can allow negativity to consume you.
This is why we are sponsored by BetterHelp. BetterHelp is customized online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist, so you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to.
There is a broad range of expertise in BetterHelp's 20,000 plus therapist network that gives you access to help that may not be available in your area. You just fill out a questionnaire to help assess your specific needs, and then you get matched with the therapist in under 48 hours.
Then you schedule secure video and phone sessions. Plus, you can exchange unlimited messages, and everything you share is completely confidential. You can request a new therapist at no additional charge anytime.
Join the 2 million plus people who have taken charge of their mental health with an experienced BetterHelp therapist. So many people use BetterHelp that they are currently recruiting additional therapists in all 50 states.
Get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/free-for-coffee. That's betterhelp.com/free-for-coffee.
Okay, I guess in the spirit of being fair, we should let our guests go first with this week. Well, with her sexiest man alive.
Or you tell us
this week. Are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
You want to go first, or would you rather?
I could go first. So let me listen to you guys. You guys go first, and then I'll do it last. Because I have not.
Okay, I have
heard
somebody. This is not on type for me.
What?
But in the spirit of Ted Lasso, and if y'all are not watching Ted Lasso, y'all need a life.
And at this point, guys, if you're watching it after you've listened to this recording, it's wrapped up. We're done.
One more. Well,
no. When they're listening to this, it's
that'll be the
wrapped up.
end.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
okay, but if you know that last week was a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff.
And a lot of loose ends were getting tied up.
Yeah. So in that spirit, I am picking Brendan Hunt, who is Coach Beard, who is not my type at all.
But damn it,
but he had
Beard.
a moment, didn't he?
I love him.
He had such a moment.
Yes.
It just was like, oh, all the things, wasn't it?
You did go
And
like way
out of my lane. And he is so reliably, what's the word? Kind, and does what needs to be done in the moment.
Yes.
Like when he kicked Jamie's dad out, and what happened last week, and all the things. And that is so.
He's going to show up and
don't
get it done.
Don't you love a guy that just takes charge?
He's your 10 toes down.
Right.
He is
that's
the 10
it.
toes down
there you go.
person.
That's
okay.
It.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
Sheena, do you watch Ted? You have, girl. If you have not, you have got to watch.
And I want to say, I thought I would hate the show.
Yeah,
and I love it.
It's so.
It was great.
Let me tell you.
You kind of think like, oh, I probably would not like this, but when you do watch it, it's so amazing.
I love it. I've seen seasons 1 and 2, and I have to binge it because I'm an Android girl and I have to borrow other people's Apple accounts.
Oh,
So
okay.
I have not watched season 3 yet, but I am a huge Ted Lasso fan.
You know, when you get on season 3 and the second to the last, Coach Beard has a moment that is just so amazing. It did some things for me, girl. I don't know. And he is not my type, but he just, I don't know.
When you said it, I was like, wait, I'm sorry.
That girl, I crossed 4 lanes and got off that exit. I did some things because he is not my jam.
It was
but
really
just
good.
something about it. Okay.
Yes, it was good.
Who's your pick?
Who's my pick? So my pick, also not my usual. It was because you were talking about the movie you just watched. So mine, and this was a genuine crush for me, Billy Bob Thornton. I loved him when I was younger. There was something about him. He's
kind of ruggedly sexy.
Yes.
In a weird country ass way.
Really weird, probably too much time in Texas for me.
But he can do it for me too.
Yes,
yeah,
so that's
he's age appropriate for me.
But listen, age is nothing but a number for me this week. So
I hear that.
Yeah, 67 is not too old for me this week.
Not at all. That's young. That's young tenderoni.
What about you, Sheena? Who you feeling?
All right, so I was going. I'm gonna go to the person that I always say, and I don't know what it is about this man, but if I was to see him, in person, I probably wouldn't think anything of it. But seeing him on the screen, if you are close to me, you would know I love me some Benicio del Toro. Benicio del Toro is really cute to me. I don't know if it's the eyebrows or the look, but for whatever reason, he has this mysterious
package.
Yes, this mysterious darkness. I'm just like, are you like gonna kidnap me, or are we gonna go?
I could see that.
Have we ever picked him?
No.
Did Kennedy pick him?
No,
I don't think he's
not any.
Good for you.
Yeah.
We've never picked.
Never picked.
I like him.
Yes, I could do him for a week.
A whole week. Maybe two. after Sheena, of course. This is her.
My pick.
And we're not stealing him in the moment. I'm just saying you may hear his name again in season 4 of Are You Free for Coffee? Yes. Just maybe. Okay, love. Thank you for pulling up a chair and joining us for coffee. Please subscribe to Are You Free for Coffee podcast wherever you are listening. We hope that you enjoyed today's episode and find joy in the little things. Until next time.
Part of the Boundless Audio Podcast Network.